But like a universal, you go back to the Disney after they turn 21. They go back to shopping. Because that goes a lot more fun. That's it.
We're good? Oh, okay. All right. All right. Good morning, guys. So you guys notice we're here. We have our awesome book fair going on. Mr. Quadrado has once again done an amazing job with it. Very excited about all the stuff that's going on there. We'll be open for a little bit of time on Friday during the Daughter Dance. So if you guys haven't had a chance to get in there, or it is. She does a great job. She's really passionate about it, and we're thankful to have her. So, all right. So we're gonna get started, and we have a little bit of a. Hey, good morning. We have a few faces that aren't here today, so we're gonna get going anyways to be respectful of everyone's time. So you want?
Sorry.
No, good. All right, so listen, here we go. We have just over half of our committee members here, so that'll allow us to have a meeting and vote on issues. We have one proposal today that we're going to touch on, but we are going to call the meeting to order, and you guys know how this works, and I'm going to start backing off a little bit. So we need a motion to call the meeting to order.
A motion.
Yep, and then we need a second. Perfect. And then we vote on it. Everybody agree that we're going to start the meeting? All right. Perfect. All right. So then we're going to jump right into the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. And we have the one, the only, the testing coordinator herself, Ms. Zupa, to review the minutes.
Good morning, everybody. So last meeting, we spoke a little bit about our spring break iReady challenge that we were having. We had over 175 kids participate and actually received treats on that Friday when we returned. So that was great. We talked about behaviors and rounding up the school year on a positive note, helping our students, be more positive towards each other towards the end of the year, knowing that this is like the last 9 weeks for some of them. So Ms. Blair was able to talk to us a little bit about that. We talked a little bit about testing, home communications using Dojo as our main source of communication, using text reminders and phone calls through Connect One by Mr. Diaz. Sorry, Mr. Nappis.
Wow.
Sorry. I don't even know where that came from. And then we talked more about the testing dates, which we'll get into today. We did not have any grant proposals last time, but we did have a grant presenter. So Coach Brands came and presented his use of the money and what we bought with our grant fund for SAC. We also had, we talked a little bit more about the events happening at school. We had the 5th grade oration happening. We had some PTA events that had happened that were great events, and like Burger Fry. And we also have upcoming events that we were talking about this Saturday. No, this Friday. Just kidding, Friday. And we have kindergarten roundup this Saturday. So that was a lot of things going on last week.
Awesome. All right, motion to approve the minutes.
I motion to approve the minutes.
Perfect.
Second.
All right, we're all going to vote that we approve the minutes. All right, no discrepancies. Great job, Zupa. All right, so we've already done that. I'm going to say just a few things about test prep. And we have one proposal. We're going to talk about testing, some crazy dates, what's coming up to round out the year, and then we're going to have, we're going to have just a little bit of a different slide where we're just going to have some open discussion. And there was some feedback that we got that people just want to have like a little Q&A session. So we'll be sure to make sure that all voices are heard, and we'll make sure that we monitor time too. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Super excited. Wild times. We have under 8 weeks of school left, which is really crazy to think about. And time has really flown by. A lot of really cool things going on. Kids are working crazy hard. The teachers are working equally crazy hard. Super thankful for everything that's going on in the classroom. Trying to take times to celebrate the kids when we have it. We just had the iReady challenge over spring break, and those kids who did 45 minutes in math, 45 minutes in reading, and completed, was it one lesson in each too?
Yes, 45 minutes in each, and one lesson in reading, one lesson in math.
Yeah, so listen, so the kids got ice cream. Was it Monday or Tuesday? The kids had ice cream at lunch, and it was really cool. I lost track. Sorry. So very excited to be able to celebrate kids who are putting in a little extra time. All right. All right. So I'm gonna kind of fly through this stuff. I want to make sure that, like I said, we're being conscious of everyone's time. So talk about like some testing tips. All right. So we know that third, fourth, and fifth grade will have multiple state assessments, right? Starting next week. Third grade has reading next week, and fourth and fifth grade have writing. Okay. Third, fourth, and fifth grade face the biggest challenge, right? Like they are exposed to multiple assessments. Fifth grade receives the absolute gamut, right? And I won't go into each component, but next week the party formally begins, right? So, well, that doesn't mean that kindergarten, first and second grade are kind of off the hook, so to speak. That they have what we call the end of the year diagnostic, which is iReady, which we've used throughout the course of the school year, and we've used in previous years. And they have 3 benchmarks throughout the year. They have the beginning of the year diagnostic that they take in the first couple weeks of school. They take the middle of the year right before the semester break, and then they'll have the end of the year diagnostic coming up. And that just measures, right? It's not graded or anything like that. It really doesn't have any effect on promotion. It just allows us to say they grew here or they didn't grow in certain areas. So, but for those formal testing, situations that we have coming up, here are a couple just tips, right? And listen, these are, some of them have research based to it, but these are things that are just best practice that we've known throughout the years, right? Sleep is probably one of the most important things that we can make sure that our kids are getting, right? Like that good. Our kids' brains, their bodies are still developing every day. So, like 8+ hours of sleep, and if you can manage that, right? Especially that night before the test, because it allows them to engage, right, more effectively on a cognitive level. So good sleep, all right, and eat a good breakfast, all right? And I say put easy on the sugar, because we know like a lot of our cereals and stuff like that have just like a pile of sugar in them, right? So I would say just limit that, because listen, I'm not a physiologist here, but like we know that like when you ingest a ton of sugar, that it produces insulin in your body, and then you just become, right? Like you become, very sluggish. So I would be very cautious about the sugar. And then we do have breakfast here. So we have breakfast every day here, and it's still free for everybody, no matter what status you are. So we have free breakfast, free lunch. So if they miss breakfast, don't panic, because they can eat here. Just tell them to go to the cafeteria and they'll get some food, okay? What?
Just come early, eat breakfast.
Yeah. Yep. Be on time every day. 8:40. Instruction starts at 8:45. So the kids really have to be walking in the door no later than 8:40. And that's really been our goal all year. But as we continue to get into testing, Mr. Zupa is very conscious that everybody's going to get here and everybody's going to get here on time. So if we can just make sure that by 8:40 everybody is in the building and transitioning to their class.
I have to say that I have a lot of students that come in late, but when we told them that we were doing the mock FSA, they were all on time.
Okay. So it can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done. Okay. All right, good. Thank you. So we'll be sending out, communication through multiple modes, right? So we'll use Dojo, which we've used all year. We'll do the Connect Orange, the phone call. I think it's kind of nice when it comes through the phone call or the text, where you can just press play on the text, right? You guys get that feature? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, and then, listen, so from here on out, and this really stands for a couple weeks ago, grades 3 through 5 really just, really can't afford to miss right now. Listen, people get sick, we get it. There are things that happen with the family, we get it. I really do get it. But for those days where our kids, just want to sleep in because maybe, they're just tired, like we really got to make every effort to get here, just because, man, those teachers are doing everything they can to make sure that those kids are in the best position possible. We've had some really good conversations with teachers this week, right? Like, there are a lot of factors that go into this. One is, like the school pride, right? Like everybody who lives in this community and sends their kids to this school, takes pride in this being, an A school, right? And then that's our focus. But it's also too, like our 5th graders, we want to make sure that they're in the best position possible as we send them off to middle school, right? And then based on how they perform, is what their schedule looks like in middle school, right? And the better they are off, more interesting their schedule could be. Like they might have options for different electives or different clubs or different programs. But like I said, I go back to this, and man, our teachers are working crazy hard, right? And they're doing amazing things, and they've been very flexible, been very patient with me, and I'm thankful for that because I've asked a lot of them this year. So I'm thankful that I know that there are times when they get frustrated with me, but we're all just working hard for the kids. So. Okay, all right. So if you are interested, there is a website. It's called fsassessments.org. There are like some sample questions in there, right? It's not like a super easy page to navigate. I'm being honest with you. Like it's the DOE website, and it's just a little wonky. But there are sample questions for math and sample questions for ELA, and then for 4th and 5th grade, I believe there's some sample writing prompts, right? So. So the teachers use some of these right from here to kind of prep the kids. So, so it's a good resource, right? If you just want to get on and look to see like what your kids are being exposed to, like what it's really going to look like. All right, moving on. Kindergarten registration, April 2nd. That's this Saturday. We are popping into kindergarten, so we're super excited. Ms. Gauthier, our school registrar, has done an absolute phenomenal job of really pumping up. Kindergarten registration. So we're super excited about all the effort she's put in. And we want to get as many kindergartners. Like last year, we were projected for over 90 kindergartners, and we only ended up with like 62, 63. So I do think that like some of those kids who, were not quite 6 years old had that opportunity to stay home. There were a lot of questions at the start of the school year about the pandemic and a lot of interesting stuff. So hopefully, if you, and I'll say this too right here, any rising first graders who are not currently here, like there are some kids who are not school or that are school age, they'll have to, if they come back, they'll have to sit one day in kindergarten, even though because they didn't successfully complete kindergarten. But is know that kindergarten is not compulsory, right? They have to be at a school age to be here. So in order for us to have them here, so if there is a child who didn't come this year, right, and intends on attending first grade, then they should come to this event too. So like if you have neighbors, if you have friends that live in the community, tell them to come check out the school because they'll be giving school tours. So like it might even not necessarily be an incoming kindergartner, it might be an incoming first grader, and that's okay too. Okay? All right, so I just ran through a bunch of stuff. We're gonna have the Q&A session towards the end. Does anybody have any questions about this right now? Anybody unclear about anything? No? All right, cool. All right, here we go.
Hello, Ms. Torres, music teacher. I am going to be proposing an additional SAC grant today, but before I ask for more money, I wanted to give you just a little sneak peek of what has been going on in the music room. I've done a 3-week lesson so far. We're in the middle of week 2, utilizing the black lights that I asked for 2 SAC meetings ago. So thank you all so much for approving me for the black lights. I was able to purchase 5 LED black lights to use in the room, and I matched it with 6. So now there are 11 black lights in the music room, power stripped, all plugged in. As you can see, the room is still very visible, so nobody is going to get hurt. But in addition to the black lights, I've gotten some neon tape that is glowing. As I said, I was going to tape the 30 pairs of sticks that I got from the OCPS Foundation grant. So we are right in the middle of getting ready to allow 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade to do black light bucket drumming, utilizing different rhythms, and of course incorporating the SEL portion of getting to know the students, find out what they like. So we've arranged rhythms to popular music that's on the radio. So the kids are going to have a really great time. Next week in music class, right up with the FSA, so that after they take a test in the morning, they just get to hit buckets in the afternoon. Organized chaos, as I like to call it. So thank you so much for that. Before I move on with my next grant. So also in addition, I worked with ESC from their sensory room. They have LED chalk paint. They allowed me to use their LED chalk paint. So I utilized that as a word wall on the cabinets and along the walls and the back doors. So as everything lights up, it is still vocabulary surrounded in the room. And this is not even the most up-to-date photo. So if you all want, after the meeting, if you want to come into the music room, we can turn on all the lights. The buckets won't be out, but it is a really fun environment for everybody to see. So just a little update, at the April SAC meeting, I will be able to present photographs of the students doing what my vision was. So thank you all so much for that. But I do have one SAC grant proposal, and it is from me for today, included in your packets, and I have shared the link online for those watching online. I am requesting an additional $150 for something completely different. There are two things that I would like to add to the music room, one of which would be 2 more boxes of resonator tone bars so that my kindergarteners and first graders are not having to share. Right now, I currently have 15 boxes of tone bars, which is like a mini xylophone, full of colors, great for kindergarteners to start practicing their colors, but also we are adding kinesthetic skills to it. Can they play with hands together? Can they play with hands alternating? And they've mastered those skills. So now we're putting all 8 bars in the box, and they're working on their glissandos, working on moving up and moving down those bars. And of course, I like to use stories to bring in those ELA standards with them. So right now, I have 15. I am requesting 2 more for 17, so we do not have to share anymore. And in addition to that, I am also requesting money for a large stretchy band. A stretchy band is like a large elastic band about 80 feet long, connected together in one circle, and it is colored all around. So you've got red, yellow, green, blue. And the purpose of the stretchy band is to, once again, involve kinesthetic learning and music. That way we are able to identify form throughout a song, do different movements throughout a song, but it also can be used as an SEL portion, which based on the colors around and where the kids are holding, that can bunch them up into groups and allow turning and talking points for those students. That doesn't always have to be academic. It can also be just for fun. So I am asking for those 3 items from West Music for $150. And do we have any questions? Yes, Mr. Nappin.
Yeah, so we did a great job with the first round of this, so I just want to emphasize, so like these grants have to be, because it's controlled by SAC, which drives the school improvement plan, right? So they all have to be tied to the school improvement plan. So I heard Ms. Torres talk about tied to the stories, right? So it has an ELA perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were telling me really quick about the SEL part of it for the stretchy band too,
Yes.
right? So so I just want to make sure everybody understands that, and Torres did a great job of explaining that it does have an ELA focus or a reading focus, and then also has that social emotional piece too. So, I think it's a great idea. And listen, most of you work here or here all the time, but if these pictures don't really give justice to what Ms. Torres does in the classroom. So she's got a lot of awesome things going on. So I don't have any questions.
But the best part about that stretchy band is everybody gets to lean back and then let go, and it launches into the middle, which is really cool. And we've seen it work. It does not launch into like anybody's faces or anything.
That's all I can think about.
It is not going to hurt, but it is just something fun. It's like a release for the kids. If you stretch, at what point do you have to let go and release it all? So it is pretty fun to utilize that with the students from K through 5. It does not just have to be for a certain grade level, like the black lights were kind of being used for.
Any questions for Ms. Torres?
I just wanted to know what it looked like, so I looked it up. It looks
The stretchy band?
I'm like, what in the world is this? Because I used to say stretchy band and I didn't know what it meant. So I looked it up to see what it is, and it says exactly what you said about cooperative learning, stimulating movement, imagination, and group cooperation. So
That's awesome.
that's
I think it'd be
awesome.
fun for the classroom.
Well, I motion to approve Ms. Torres's proposal. All right. So then we're gonna vote, a formal vote. So we'll just vote by a show of hands. So all in favor of approving Ms. Torres's SAC grant proposal? All right. Looks like it's unanimous. Great job, Torres. Congratulations.
Thank you all so much. And now we are going to move it along into testing, which was the big point of the meeting for today. So we're going to go ahead and call up Ms. Zupa, our testing coordinator, to talk a little bit more about testing, because we are going to have a mock FSA assessment on Friday, which is gonna change the schedule a little bit, but then FSA for ELA for third grade is taking place next week, along with fourth and fifth grade writing next week.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, so like Ms. Torres just said, we do have a mock FSA plan for this Friday. So anybody that's in fourth and fifth grade will take the mock math FSA. It is scheduled to be they're gonna do session 1 and session 2 together in one day. So they'll do 40 minutes and then take a break and do another 40 minutes. But they'll get the feel of what the room's gonna be like. All the students with accommodations will be pulled out. Students with ELL that need extra time will also get that extra time. So everyone kind of gets a sense of what it's gonna actually feel like on a testing day. We're also changing the schedule for that day. So some lunches have been shifted and some specials have been shifted to give everybody the amount of time that they need to finish the testing. If and when, well, not if, when we start the FSA, you will have, typically, it's gonna be an 80-minute session for ELA and 80-minute session for math. So that they will look like it'll start at 9 o'clock. They'll go to about approximately 9:40, take a 10-minute break, and then 9:50 to 10:30. So the test should, give or take, about 5 minutes, and around 10:30-ish for third grade reading next week, and then for math, the same time schedule. For writing, it's 120 minutes, all done in one session for the fourth and fifth graders. So they'll start at 9 and at 10, take about a 10-minute break, and then go from 10:20 to about 11:20, and then we'll end our day for testing there. Students that do not attend on testing days, there will be a makeup window for students to make up the testing. They have to take the test in order, so if they miss session 1, if they come on session 2 day, they'll have to take session 1 before they take session 2. So that will fall into place. We have April testing is going to be third grade ELA, so the schedule's up here. Third grade ELA and fourth and fifth grade writing. We also start iReady testing. So once that week of FSA testing is done, we move right into iReady testing for first, kindergarten first, second, third, and fourth. Fifth grade will not be testing for iReady because they have so much testing, we feel like they need a break. So iReady testing will last for 3 weeks, given that the last week is going to be a makeup week. So the first week will be math iReady diagnostic, second week will be reading iReady diagnostic, and then the third week will be makeups for iReady. Anybody have any questions so far? Any questions in the chat, Ms. Torres?
So far, so good.
Awesome. During the makeup window, students with accommodations will still receive those accommodations in the testing window for the makeup session. So anybody who has accommodations will also get those, even if they have to make it up for a makeup test. In May, we have math testing for third through fifth grade on May 5th and 6th, and then ELA for math for fourth and fifth grade on the 2nd and 3rd of May. So we are really heavily into the testing season. Your poor students are going to come home, they're going to be exhausted from testing, but please, like Mr. Nathan said, make sure they get home, have a good night's sleep, they get a good dinner and a good breakfast, because sometimes, that dinner is healthy enough that, they need that before they go to bed. And make sure that they're just ready for testing. And if they're feeling sick, feel free to keep them home, but they will make up that test. They can make up the test when they come back and make it within that makeup window.
And it won't be with the teacher.
It will not be with the homeroom teacher, it'll be with a makeup group. Yes,
That's a good point.
correct. Good. Thanks, Ms. Kazara. All right, any other questions?
I have a question, not especially directly to this testing season, but about the FSA thing that supposedly is not gonna be
No
run
more.
anymore.
So this is our last year of FSA.
Is that
correct.
a proper question for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
We can talk about it a little bit. The fact of the matter is, we don't know a ton just yet, right? So this is the last year for FSA, right? Because the state is transitioning to different standards, so different content in which it'll be delivered to the kiddos, right? So next year we are going to have a different form of assessment. We just don't know what it is just yet. I mean, there's a lot of conversation out there, but I'm not really going to go into it because nothing's been solidified yet. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So
I was just curious about what does that mean, because here we have been talking a lot about the stress during the testing.
Mhm.
So when I heard that not testing anymore, I was like, okay, how it gonna affect the students? It's gonna be better without the stress, but it's nothing official
for next year.
for the
So
next year.
this format of the test, the FSA, the Florida Standards Assessment, will not be after this year. There will be no FSA next year. There will be some type of formal assessment, I would believe, I shouldn't even say that, but I would imagine there'll be a way to assess the students, right? Like the students' progress throughout the year. So, but we don't know what it'll be yet. So I'm sure that once it does roll out, we'll have to have like 1,000 parent meetings about
Yes,
about
we will be
what exactly
discussing
this
it
means. So
in depth
so,
the next year.
so more information to come.
Yes.
So we'll be called, we'll not be called the FSA, but it could be called.
And they said it was not going to be solely at the end of the year, like it's been in forever's past,
Okay,
spread out.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anything else in the chat? Are we good?
I am not seeing anything in the
All right.
chat.
Well, if you have
right
any
now.
questions, let us know. And I know we sent home an information sheet at the beginning of the month. So if you need another copy of that, let us know. That has some tips on it as well for testing. Okay? Have a great day, everybody.
So just continuing along with what's next. Right now, the spring book fair is going on, so I highly encourage everybody to go into the media center and stop by and check out the book fair. On March 31st, Ms. Quadrado is keeping the book fair open until 5:00 p.m. So tomorrow night is an extended evening of the book fair for you all to be able to come out and check that out. The Daughter Dance is taking place on Friday, and PTA is still looking for volunteers. So if anybody wants to reach out to PTA, whether it is replying to one of their Class Dojo posts or emailing them directly, they would love to have some volunteers for setup and throughout the dance. As Mr. Knappen said earlier in the meeting, pop into kindergarten. The kindergarten registration is taking place this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So encourage your neighbors who are in the area, encourage them to come check it out. Let them know Endeavor is a safe place, and we would love to have their students here next year. As Ms. Zupa said, we are beginning with FSA beginning next week. And then field day. We have rescheduled field day for Friday, April 22nd on Earth Day. So once again, information will be coming out for volunteers for field day as well. And we are hoping for beautiful weather and a fun day for everybody. Yes, Ms. Johnson.
Volunteers need to be additions approved.
Yes, all volunteers do need to be additions approved. If you are not sure of how to do the additions process, you can go ahead and email Miss Gote, correct? Or email Miss Rodriguez, Janet Rodriguez, or Zadi Gote. Very easy process, just filling out your information on a OCPS website. Or if you want to, you can Google OCPS additions.
Yeah.
Just make sure you attach yourself to Endeavor Elementary School. With iReady, math and reading also coming up within the month. And then we move, this was a suggestion that was brought by a SAC member and parents who just wanted to take some time. So we're gonna give them time in the chat to type any questions that they might have, give you all a chance to kind of come up with any questions or comments, because we are gonna reserve this time moving forward as an open forum where we field questions from the community and stakeholders. Because I know this was a lot of information coming all at once. So we're going to give about a minute for people online to ask any questions. Or any questions in the room that we may have.
I don't have a question, but April 20th, we are gonna have, we just got confirmation, a spirit night at Jeremiah's
Ooh, so a PTA spirit night at Jeremiah's.
from 3 to 10 p.m.
April 22nd.
20th.
20th.
And what?
20th.
Which one is that? Like, where
The
is
one
that?
by Publix in Hunters Creek.
The one off Town Center Boulevard.
Okay, that's great.
3 to 10.
Those gelatos, gelatis, oh my goodness.
That is a great way to reward your child after working very hard in FSA and iReady testing.
Exactly.
That is a great little field trip to go out. Okay, so we do have a parent question and an open comment right in here. Has there been any discussion in regards of the school having a uniform for the students?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. No, so some districts are uniform districts, like my kids go to school in Osceola County, that's a uniform district. So like school-wide or district-wide, they have parameters, but in some schools in Orange County are uniform schools. That's just not something that, it's not been brought up enough here to even kind of engage in that conversation. And, I think for the most part, our kids dress super appropriately. So, no, that's not something that we have here, and it's not very common at all in Orange County. I know there's some Title I schools. Students have some like financial challenges, so they invoke a dress code, and the school can just provide. They have funds to provide clothing for people, and it just makes it really easy. But no, we don't have any plans to have a dress code here. It's a good question.
And then we've got a new parent to Endeavor. They are new, and they want to know, when is parent-teacher conferences?
So we don't have a date on the books for parent-teacher conferences. So for the final quarter, probably do like a year-end recap, right? As soon as we start to end out, as we start to close out the school year. However, parents are always welcome to meet with their teachers, right? So I think that's the bigger piece here is our teachers do a really good job of being available sometimes before school, during their planning times, and then also sometimes after school. And then also, through the pandemic, we've become very savvy with technology. So we're able to use Microsoft Teams and other platforms like that to communicate with parents, like FaceTime, or even, so in some cases Zoom. So I guess the best answer would be like, there is no formal date for like formal parent conferences, but you can meet the parent can meet with the classroom teacher, whenever they can set up a time that's convenient for both of them.
So just make sure to reach out to the classroom teacher and get that scheduled.
Question, comment, or concern, I would definitely reach out to the classroom teacher, because our teachers are super accommodating. So good question.
Very good questions. Do we have any other final questions from anybody, whether they're online or in the room? Is the field day going to be rescheduled? Yes, field day is already rescheduled for Friday, April 22nd. So Coach Brands will be sending more information out for that. So yes, field day is rescheduled.
And just so everybody knows why we did that, like we thought long and hard, and man, the weather in Florida we know is super unpredictable, especially in the spring. But man, the weather was looking pretty dreary for that day, and we had a lot of rain leading up to it, so the field was pretty wet. And man, we really just want this to be an awesome day for the kids. And we had, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we have some bounce houses planned for them and some like really awesome activities. But we didn't want to do it in the case that like we'd have all the stuff set up and then we'd have lightning in the area. We couldn't do it. So we just wanted to kind of err on the side of caution. So hopefully, the 22nd is a good day. What?
Spirit Night is taking place on the day of our next SAC meeting.
Yay.
Which our next SAC meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 20th at 7:45 a.m., where we will be meeting back in the media center because book fair will not be going on. All right. And with that, can I make a motion to?
Can I say two things?
Yes.
And then I want to hear it.
Yes.
So we only have two SAC meetings left. We'll have one in April, one in May. The one in May, we're going to have, we'll do similar to this, but like, man, it's going to be more festive, right? We're going to have breakfast for everybody. And we've had a very consistent contingent of people who've come this year. We're very thankful for you guys, and know that this isn't always the most exciting stuff, but your presence is super important. So we're thankful for all you guys being here every month. In the April meeting, I will touch on parts of the budget, like for next year and what our plans are financially. We just got it on Friday, and I pretty much wrapped things up yesterday. So we'll be talking about the budget. So if you're interested in some of the intricacies of our how we pay for things around here, we'll talk about that. And I'm done.
And on that note, I would like to make a motion for dismissal, for closing. What is it?
Yep.
Motion to close.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There it is.
Second. Are we going to vote? Woo. All right, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you all so much. See you on Wednesday, April 20th. Have a great day.
Testing lately, but
I didn't want to put you on the spot, but celebration, we have a venue.
You know what, Rick, you've been super patient with me about that.
I was just talking about it.
Well, I mean, I did go with